Not sure what we're here to talk about, but we're hanging out. I'm joined today by Jonny Fairplay, Matt Bischoff, Tanya Vance, and Lex Vandenberg, some of my favorite people in the world. How are you guys?
It is an honor to be able to join you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You're a righteous dude.
And Zach, what do you have? Explain the stuff you have in the behind you, like your back. Like I'm in my spare bedroom where Jonny Fairplay is fucked in here.
Yeah, there is Jonny Fairplay cum.
Oh.
Like if you see outside that room.
Yeah.
I've been told I have very tasty cum.
Oh my God.
Matt,
how can we turn on Johnny's...
Oh no, Donovan told me you have tasty cum.
There we go.
Let's put Jonny in a 10-minute timeout. Can we do that on Zoom? Is there a timeout option?
This is not one of those stupid ESPN things.
But what is behind you, Zach? So obviously you have a collection of memorabilia, probably more so than the 4 survivors that are on this right now.
I've got some good stuff, but I've been working on a show about old school Survivor and Survivor history. So this is sort of set up in my recording area. So cool. I was like nerdily gathering every Survivor thing I own and arranging it behind me. But I've got this is not Colby's torch from Australia, but it is the torch that he carried during the reunion show.
Oh, cool!
In Australia, this is the immunity idol stand from Blood versus Water.
Wow!
This is from Thailand.
Hey Tanya, do you hate that?
No.
But yeah, I've just got lots of buffs and signed shit, and I've got some pieces from Matt. I know you did the puzzle from One World with me at the premiere.
Yeah, that was.
I've got those puzzle pieces stacked.
I didn't want to touch that just in case I had the beginning of Corona.
You might have.
Yeah. Yeah, you were sick, man. You were not yourself, Jonny Fairplay.
That was the one. I did have fun later that evening.
Here we go again.
A lot of fun later
with your ice cream flavored jizz.
Jealous much?
Well, I don't know what mine tastes like. I've had too many complaints, but I haven't been told that I taste like like a Pez dispenser or the Tasty Freeze.
Have you ever thought about tasting it?
No.
But I will tell you this, and I don't know if this is true or not. But so my friend Carrie Hersner, she was a high school friend of mine. I believe it was Carrie. At lunch one time or something, she said that dudes' cum can taste different based off of what
they're eating,
whatever. Like, so if you drink a bunch of orange juice, or if you drink
pineapple juice is supposed to make it taste the best.
Well, it makes total sense. Like your pee smells different depending on, and your poo smells different depending on what you're eating.
So I wonder what asparagus cum.
I think it tastes like hollandaise sauce. It's like a nice hollandaise.
Dude, I could eat asparagus like right now and piss 5 minutes from now, and my piss would smell fucking.
Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah,
me too. But I don't think it does that to everybody. I think only certain people. I think
with the urine, with the asparagus, dude.
Yeah,
based on their pH balance. So.
I don't know. It's so gross.
No, there's been like several girls that I've told like in the heat of passion, it's just like, I'm going to finish down there and then I'm going to go there afterwards. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. And then like afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going down there. That's like my go-to.
How did we degenerate already in the first 5 minutes of talking about Jonny Fairplay's discharge?
Well,
it's Jesus Christ.
Well, all right, let's transition to my amazing medal.
Is that going to be my shirt? I knew it was my shirt.
And your medal. Come get it. Come get it, COVID-19. I dare you.
This asshole was on my softball team to start the day, and then jumps on the winning team and unbelievable.
Tanya, I gave him so much grief about that. I shamed him publicly. I told him, I said, Tanya, you have never looked so ugly.
It's true.
Right now.
It's true.
Well, I said, you have let yourself go, girl.
Oh, yeah. Listen, that is so funny. He told me he did that, and I just thought it was hilarious. Very typical.
And this is still I haven't seen you since because we were supposed to see each other for one thing and job related stuff, and then
look at you wearing that jewelry like a cocky bastard.
I'm gonna wear it as a fucking cock ring and threaten to eat my cum later. It's gonna be
wow.
Better than a lock, Johnny Exotic.
Oh my God! I got. There's not a way here. Let me see.
I wish Mr. Vance were in bed. He has your tank top now, Johnny Exotic.
Oh, well,
does he really?
Yeah, I bought him one.
Can you guys see this?
Oh, that's awesome. That Wendell, he's got it on.
Can you put it to my screen?
Listen, I
the
can't
big.
see it.
Who is that?
It's everybody controls their end display.
What do I do?
How do you do that?
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. I see it.
Hold on. How do I go to?
How do you do your own display? How do you mess with your own? I can see it.
I think you go to gallery, right? And
you can switch between speaker and gallery view, and then you can see everybody.
But everybody could have seen that.
Oh yeah. I see it now. Yeah,
okay. Anyway, it's sorry. It's
I see it's a person wearing a shirt.
Yeah, it's Wendell.
Okay.
Wearing Johnny Fairplay's Johnny Exotic
the Johnny Exotic shirt.
Oh, did he buy one?
Yes.
I bought Todd one. I think it's hysterical. He had it on the other day, and I was laughing so hard.
I bought it. I bought the yellow tank top. It's the famous, and Wendell even wrote, he was like, new favorite shirt ever.
Dude, it sucks. I bought the T-shirt, but I guarantee I'm gonna wish I had the tank top.
I feel like cutting the sleeves off looks more legit on that one.
Oh, there you go. You could totally do that.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think you should have put out a cod piece.
I just wear my softball medal as a cod piece.
Oh my God.
No, but with you as Johnny, like you could wear yourself down there.
Oh yeah.
It would be like.
Yeah. Did
you see that? So someone posted a picture. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It was in the Patreon group. Someone posted a picture of me with my mullet. Did you ever see that picture, Johnny? It's a profile picture, and I have it's pretty strong. I gotta find it.
Yeah, so
I need to see that.
They're opening up salons here May 8th.
Oh.
Are you really getting a mullet, Johnny?
Oh, dude, that was the thing. So my last haircut was March 9th, and this is before any of the fucking Joe Exotic shit. And the chick that does my hair, she was just like, what do you think? And I'm just like, I don't know. She was like, she goes, you've been growing out your hair for a while. You could rock a pretty sick mullet if you wanted. And I was like, I would love to have a mullet. And she was like, well, fuck, let's do it. And I was like, no, I have a live show March 11th. They're expecting to see Johnny Fairplay look like Johnny Fairplay. My next haircut's a mullet. She goes, all right, I'm putting in the books. Johnny Fairplay mullet. And
so how long is your hair in the back though? Like, can you really? Is that?
You are gonna look. Yeah, you may end up looking. Well, you're certainly gonna look like one of the dudes from Tiger King for sure. But you're also gonna look like maybe one of them like '80s British soccer stars, where back then they all had the sweet mullets.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Just get yourself an Adidas tracksuit.
I have a few.
Are you gonna shave it on the sides, Johnny? And
fuck yeah! I mean, I'll and for special occasions, I'll do like the lines and shit. Like maybe like a lightning bolt.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
a star for 4th of July. Yes.
Fuck it. I'm all in.
Did you know that
Wallen? Do you know Morgan Wallen, the country music singer?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, he's awesome. He's from this area. He's got a mullet, and he brought him back. It's the bomb. So look him up. You need it to look like his. His is awesome.
All right.
Mullets do rule. But what I was going to say, that Softball with the Stars I saw is they've postponed it till 2021.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, so I have news, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to go ahead. Because, all right, so peek behind the curtain, guys. We were supposed to have T-Bird, who's not here because of a family situation. Nothing horrific, nothing Corona related. Not like Rupert lying to do a Pearl Islands reunion, claiming he has Corona and doesn't. Nothing like that.
Fucked up.
That is so messed up.
It is.
Yeah. So, but T-Bird's supposed to be here, and Jonathan was supposed to be here, but they were not. But for those of you wondering why this collection of people were assembled with Zack Hacker, this is the crew that goes to Big Tom's on the 4th of July. A new tradition started, this past summer. And with a few other people sprinkled in, but I have an interesting story to tell you that started back a week ago. I contacted several of the winners because on one of the tiers we do autograph pictures from previous survivors, and so I've been trying to get winners, but Brian Heidick and is in the next package, and Chris Daltrey. And so I asked Lori, Chris Daltrey's wife, to ask Chris if I sent him some pictures to sign, and included a self-addressed stamped envelope to send back, would he do that? And she was like, let me ask. And so she wrote back, she's like, yes, please send them on. I'm like, okay. So yesterday I get a phone call. Well, 2 days ago, Lori's like, can you confirm this is your number? Chris wants to call you. And I'm like, okay. So then yesterday I'm running and I get a call from Chris Daltrey. I was like, hey, what's up? He's like, hey, what are you up to? I was like, I'm running. He was like, do you want me to call you back? I'm like, no, I can talk and run. I mean, it may or may not sound like I'm feverishly masturbating, and I may or may not be feverishly masturbating. So, but if you're willing to take the chance, so am I. So he's just like, hey, he goes, so I got these pictures that you sent and the return envelope, stamped. I was like, yeah. He's like, I don't know why my wife said that I would sign them because I'm not.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. When you told me that she said he would do it, I was very surprised that he said he would do it, because I know he don't do any of that. He don't do nothing. No more. Yeah. And you know what? And that is totally okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have sent them.
Well, totally. Well, I think that Lori, she just really thought that he might do it once he got it, and she didn't want to disappoint you, and she thought that he would do it. I think it came from a good place.
I think so too. So,
but I could have told you that Chris wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, well, I was there. That's why I was just asking. Because I ask, for those of you wondering, I ask Chris to be on the podcast every 6 months.
Nope. That'll never happen, dude.
I know. I'm fully aware.
I need to know some information. So I know he's over it, but did something happen? Like, he's not mad at you, and he's not mad at the charity, right? Like, I don't understand.
No. Well, I don't know what happened, but let me finish this, and then Lex, you please add to what we don't know from this. So
I'm not going to add anything because it's Chris's business.
Okay.
And I it's not to me to share anything that I know. It's not mine to share, and I love Chris.
So there is something.
I love his family. No, there's not necessarily anything. He just doesn't want to. It should be enough just to say that that's in the past, and he's moved forward. And that's that.
He's told me that he doesn't think people care, and I'm just like, you're so wrong.
Oh, they care. Well, we've all told him that. Plenty of people care.
If I could add something in here too, he is on the docket for Eliza Orland's event next Wednesday.
Well, that's and you know what? That's a wonderful thing. And
I'm glad. I was surprised.
You're right, because I'm doing that as well. And I think are you all doing that?
I'm not.
I just got an email, but I don't know if I'm a part of it. An email just showed up.
That may have been because Chris and she was on his cast, and this is a critically important juncture in Eliza's life, and she's she is fighting the good fight, and it's an uphill. It is a total underdog story. She is fighting the person that she's going up against for DA is powerful. Family has old money, lots of old money, lots of donors, all of that stuff, and she is up against, she is going against the wind, against the tide, but for all the right reasons. Her platform, she wants to help the people that don't have anyone helping them right now. The disenfranchised, and so I guarantee you, Chris has a huge heart. We all know that. We all know that, and I'll bet you that when she called him, he said, "Okay, I'm coming out. I'm coming out of hiding for this, because this is a really important thing. This is much bigger than Survivor.
Sure,
this is important. So if he's there, my hat is off to him. Good on him."
Yeah. So our conversation continued. It was just like, I don't know why she said I was signing. I was just like, I don't either. And he was like, so do you want me to just send them back? And I'm just like, well, there's really no point in that. I'm like, they're pretty much worthless without your signature. He goes, well, why did you pick the picture that you did? And I'm just like, motherfucker, I'm like, I'm sorry that you were on in the age of black and white television, but that was the highest resolution available of your fucking ass. He goes, it looks like a high school picture. I'm like, lucky you.
I know, I'd be happy about that.
It could be a recent picture, motherfucker. You're lucky. So he was just like, he goes, so you want me to just throw them away? And I was like, no. I was like, put them beside a liquor bottle, and the next time you make a bad decision, make signing those pictures the bad decision that you choose to make. And he was like, all right, I'll do that. And so they're allegedly sitting beside a liquor bottle right now. So, but that's not the good news of the story. So I was like, all right, you've severely let me down, Chris. And there's only one way that you can make this up. I will see you at Big Tom's in August. And he goes, you know what? Lori was talking to me about that, and she told me what a good time you guys had, and it's just you guys. Fuck it. I'll see you at Big Tom's the next time.
So he's down the next time there's a get together, he'll go to it or whatever.
He's in.
Well, that is phenomenally good news, because I have missed seeing him each time.
Yeah.
Each time I see his beautiful bride and he's not in tow, I'm sad, and she always says, he said say hi, but he didn't want to come, and that's sad. But I'll tell you, it's probably going to be 2021, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
I don't think it's gonna be this summer. I don't think I'm getting on a plane.
Yeah.
This summer, if anything's open, because the plane to me is like, it is literally, it's a germ, carrying capsule.
I, as much as I love you guys, I wouldn't go see you to come back and not be able to see my two daughters for 14 days.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And I wouldn't ask you to do the same thing.
But I'm pretty much with it. As much as this sucks, I don't, unless it gets miraculously, something like, for example, Hearts of Reality. I don't see how, as much as Hearts of Reality was one of the most amazing events I've ever been a part of, there is no fucking way that they're going to let 200 reality stars go to a place where immune compromised children are.
Well, that's been canceled.
Hearts of Reality is totally, the one in Florida, is it totally
just the
canceled?
one in California?
Oh, yeah. Florida hasn't been canceled?
No.
But I don't see how that could happen.
Scheduled?
August.
It ain't.
Is it August 7th?
I'll guarantee you right now that ain't going to happen.
That's what I thought.
I will guarantee you that ain't going to happen.
Michael has already wanted to cancel it, but Omar has talked him into keeping it open. I talked to Omar a couple days ago.
Fighting. Yeah.
Here's the thing, like my company, Adobe, and companies like Facebook as well, we have, we host these enormous multi-million dollar conferences several times every year. Like next month, I was supposed to be in Lisbon, Portugal. And then in October, we've got like this enormous creative conference in Los Angeles. And Adobe has canceled every single, and we were already invested millions in. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have canceled every single in-person conference until the end of 2020. So December. Facebook just announced that they have canceled every single live event that is more than 50 people until June of 2021. Wow. So 18 months out. Now, there is no way that like you said, Matt, that this charity event with immunocompromised kids that have cancer and have no immune systems, and this thing is happening in what? May, June, July,
like first, there's no way it's going to happen.
There is absolutely, you know what? There is no possible, nobody with any sense of like responsibility would allow that to happen, because
well, if they subtracted the part where we saw the kids, that's one of the biggest parts.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is. That's what makes that event
special.
So special, right? Mm-hmm. Plus, it's just, you also, when you're putting on an event like that, you don't necessarily want to fly out, 100 people with a certain amount of celebrity to a place where they might all get sick. Because talk about the worst PR. You threw on a fundraiser and 20 survivors perished later because they got exposed.
Well, Big Brother people, sure, but not survivors.
But yeah, I mean,
if there were still circulating celebrities from the Tila Tequila show, I think that would be encouraged.
Oh my God!
Oh boy,
Tila Tequila! Oh my God! Yeah, so patrons, if you're watching this, in no way are we officially saying anything is canceled or on. We're simply saying that. Yeah. What's that?
That's
we're just speculating. I mean,
speculating.
But Tanya, I do have a really good deal on some Foo Fighters tickets July 4th, and I really prefer you PayPal me today on.
Yes, no, I'll pass.
They're really good seats. They might be even closer.
So you guys, Jonny was saying, like, so season 41 and 42 are supposed to be filming pretty much now. Jonny had said he heard that they're right after the finale that they're going to go out and film.
No, Jeff said the latest update, this was like 3 weeks ago, they're looking to start
pre-production.
Start production like May 19th, a week after the finale. And, by starting production, I think that means pre-production, as in, coordinating, film and all that stuff to begin the process. So, and that could be delayed again, but the latest as of 3 weeks ago was a potential May 19th, like pre-production start. So
do you guys see that? Do you think that could happen? You guys
No.
Like, do you think there's any possible way that they're filming Survivor this summer in Fiji?
Here's the thing. They have, the size of their crew.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, aren't a lot of them union?
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of them are from Australia and New Zealand and shit.
In any event, they have an enormous crew, and the one thing that I've always seen, or the two times I was on, is that SCG and CBS they definitely do care about their crews.
Yes,
and I cannot imagine. I think that they obviously think nothing of throwing us like in the line of
we're
fire and danger. But when it comes to their crew and their producers and all the people that work for SCG and CBS that go out there, they take that really seriously, and they really care about their safety. They're good employers in that regard. I cannot myself imagine them going against the grain and forcing it just to get something in the can.
I don't think they're forcing. I think they're optimistically looking at that date for pre-production.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, if come May 19th, the rest of the entertainment industry in Hollywood and TV, if they have decided that it is not yet safe for them to resume production on everything from sitcoms to other reality shows, I think Survivor is going to be smart, and they're going to follow suit and say, we are going to be prudent and wait as well. Yeah, we're not going to be the first to go out there and test the waters.
Yeah, I don't think they're trendsetters in that way, and they're not rebel rousers. So no, I don't think that. I think they're looking, they're trying to put a future date out there, and kind of circling the wagons. But once again, this information was thrown out 3 weeks ago. Right. And I think it was an optimistic date.
Well, and the world is a different place 3 weeks ago. Things right now, the world can change in a matter of 3-4 weeks. Yeah. Everything's there's all the rules are different right now. And here's the thing, there are so many people out there that are rabidly hungry for the next season of Survivor and to know that they won't have to wait. But if I had the floor, in front of like Les Moonves or something, I'd say, dude, there's never been a better time for you to, cherry pick one of your favorite super old school seasons and run it on prime time. You've never rerun a season of Survivor. Rerun season 1 or Australia or whatever, just
pick extended cut episodes.
Africa.
Just Pearl Island to throw a random season. I
honestly don't. I don't care which one it is, but I do think there's an enormous number of people that never saw the old ones, but that also haven't gone to like Hulu or wherever you can get them now. They would be just as excited to see one of these seasons that's 20 or so, years old, as they would be to see a new one. And it would be something completely different because we played a whole different game and the show was a different show.
Well, I would pick a season like in Africa or Pearl Islands, like one of those early big seasons, big characters, right? In hopes. All right, so that airs from September till December, in hopes that come February, you do a 2021 version of that same season. Well, that's
the thing, yeah. I think that if people today saw some of those old seasons, they'd say, God, that's different, and I really like it. And it, because right now I feel that as much as maybe, Probst and his crew think that it might be interesting to go back to an old school style just to see what happens, I think they're scared to do it because they're worried that it's too risky, that people might not like it. But if they threw an old season out there, they got nothing to lose.
But no,
if people love it, then they can do it.
But I'm saying pick either Africa or Australia or one of those seasons, and then come October, when if the coast is clear, film with that cast, whichever one you chose.
I see what you're saying. Wow,
and then in February,
that's really interesting.
It's Survivor Africa 2021.
That would be so cool.
That would be so fun.
Really,
that would rule.
Like, you've primed your audience for they're just like, man, like, why did they choose Africa? And then it's just like, you saw them last season when 20 years ago, and now they're all back. Does Ethan win again? No.
No, but that's a really provocative idea.
Right? I think because if you're forced to have to show old stuff, and you're not, but if you kind of are, and you're just like, what can we put in that time slot? It's just like, what if we did an old season? How could they justify that in their heads by doing a reboot?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, I think it's amazing. I mean, not Thailand, of course. But,
I know they'll never pick Thailand, which sucks. But you could, if you did it that way, you're going to have a few. Like, let's say you did Australia and Elizabeth Hasselbeck. She's not going to do it. You could maybe work in fans or something. Like, that's their favorite season. I don't know.
I'd throw in a Jessica Pete. They're
yeah.
So
They're
You could
interchangeable.
probably
is that
fit
what you're
in
saying?
like Africa and Australia, and then do Africa versus Australia 2021.
Yeah, and you could cherry pick the ones you want from each season, and the ones that don't want to do it don't have to do it.
Yeah,
right.
That's a great idea as well.
That's probably a better idea.
Season versus season is also a really
that would be awesome.
Provocative idea.
So September show Africa, and then February show Pearl Islands, and then September of the next year Africa versus Pearl Islands.
Yes.
Or you could just do one of those "Where Are They Now?" and just have a special on Mike Scoopin'.
It's just standing outside of an empty junior high school.
Oh God!
When will this virus end? That's a perfectly functional playground right there.
So Lex, I want to ask you this, man. So like, I was just thinking about this. You were doing that TV show at Big Tom's and on Nat Geo or whatever. And how many episodes did you guys actually film for? Two. Did both of them air on the TV?
They both aired. The sad thing is they aired them. I think they aired them almost back to back with it was super janky. They set us up for failure. So they aired them. Tanya, do you remember? I think it was like a few days apart or something.
They did, yeah, because I thought they were hilarious myself. I liked it.
I mean, I thought there was really something there, but they also they made the decision not to do any advertising, not even on their own network.
Yeah.
So in the 2 to 3 weeks leading up to when we hit air, they didn't play one ad for the show on Nat Geo once.
What was why would you do that?
Because it was a secret.
Because they just wanted it to. We had
come out of nowhere.
We had contracts that we had signed, very basic contracts that they agreed to air the pilot episodes, the 2 pilot episodes. So they were contractually bound to air them. But after we shot the episodes and went in to edit them, went into post-production, there was a huge turnover and churn at the executive level at Nat Geo TV. So a couple of the people that loved the show and that actually signed us on, they got canned from Nat Geo. Now they had new executives at Nat Geo. Those executives didn't want anything that their predecessors that got canned, they didn't want any of those things to succeed or have life. Okay. Because it was associated with these people that got canned. So they wanted to tick the boxes, which they were contractually bound to tick, which was they will each air once. And then they wanted it to just go away.
How devastated were you, Lex?
I was pretty tore up for sure. I had worked on that for about a year.
Yeah. You had an outline for an entire season.
We had an entire season. We had about 16 episodes. And here's the thing though, Matt, I was less devastated, much less devastated for me than I was for the Buchanan family, because I had, as much as I had told them, look, you guys, I don't want you guys to get excited until we know that this thing is real. I don't want to set false expectations, but as soon as we actually pitched our idea and we found a network that bit, and then as soon as we had like a large production company, they flew I don't know, it wasn't as large as, obviously not as large as Survivor, but they flew out a crew of about 20 people with probably several $1 million worth of gear to Rich Valley, Virginia. and that whole town for like 2 weeks was, I mean, on fire, right? People could see crews everywhere and, funky equipment. And so the Buchanan family, Tom and Bo and Poppy and everybody, they got really excited and they thought, okay, this could change our lives. And for me, I never did this. I never did. I did it because I always wanted to share the magic that I found at Tom's Farm with the rest of the world, because especially my kind of people, people that aren't country people, I thought they could learn a lot. They could learn a lot, about, what a family farm is all about, where your food comes from, the beauty of like multiple generations of people all living together and working together. This is like all, to me, really super interesting. It's
Americana.
The number of times we pitched our concept to networks, and they wanted us to they said, okay, we'll do it, but it's got to be like Duck Dynasty.
Yeah.
It's got to be scripted. And I said, okay, I will walk out of this office right now and with nothing, rather than sign $1 million contract to do something scripted. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here for you guys to green light a project where you have a camera crew and you capture what is happening. We will have an idea of what each episode will be, because I know how that farm works, and I know, what happens over time. There's plenty of content there, but there will be no scripting. There will be no, fake, nothing fake. It'll be real, and it'll be dramatic, and it'll be interesting, and it'll be hilarious, but it's going to be real. It's not going to be fake. I'm not putting my name on anything fake, right? And I walked out of a lot of meetings because they wanted to do something fake. But, the thing that broke my heart is we were this close, and right before there was a big changing of the guard at Nat Geo, the Nat Geo people said, yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be huge. This is going to be the next Duck Dynasty. And so Tom and Bo and everybody out there got really excited. And I got really excited for them because, again, I had a really good job. And, if it had put a few dollars in my pocket, awesome, but I didn't really care. For me, I would have just been so proud to have been able to do something creative and put it out there. But most of all, to help my brother and his family, who I adore like my family, right? And so for me, the most devastating thing was that they were so sad and disappointed. And when it all kind of, and we got on social media, we tried to use grassroots just to promote it ourselves, because Nat Geo wouldn't advertise it, but it wasn't enough.
What year was this, Lex? What year was approximately?
This was about 7 years ago.
So if this were happening in 2020 with Instagram, Twitter, the social media being so big, would that have moved the needle at all, or changed anything?
Yeah, it might have helped because back then we didn't have, none of us, even now, us old school people, don't really have the social media following that new school people do. I mean, you look at all of our Twitter followings and Instagram followings and whatnot. I mean, like look at someone like, well, I mean, you just look at
just
the people that are
newer, like you could have a new pre-jury Survivor contestant that has 25,000 followers.
Yeah, or you've got like an evil dick from Big Brother who's got, I don't know, he's got like 150,000 or 200,000, 250,000. He's got like a lot. So people I know now,
Big Brother is a more computer-based show.
Totally, but here's the thing: is different. If we did it now, I've got this army of people that are friends of mine that would have totally mobilized and made some shit happen that I didn't have 7 years ago, right? Because it just wasn't, the social media landscape wasn't quite what it is now. But do I think it would have changed anything? Probably not.
I felt at the time, and even more so now, that Nat Geo wasn't the perfect fit. Like maybe
it wasn't.
Maybe the people there, had an idea of what Nat Geo could be, but like, knowing what it was then and what it still is today, nothing's changed. I always felt CMT was screaming.
We pitched to them several times. And here's the thing: we went with Nat Geo because they were the only network that would do it at a production value that we felt was appropriate, that would have us. The only other ones that expressed interest were ones that wanted to do basically like the equivalent of, like a YouTube channel kind of podcast thing. And I was like, no, this is this is a much bigger story, right?
Yeah, this isn't the Survivor NSFW Patreon. This is
no.
There's no signal in Rich Valley. You're not getting 2 bars.
But it was either the two things we had. When we went to networks like CMT, for example, or other ones like Discovery and whatnot, they either wanted us to have it scripted because they wanted control and they wanted to know that it was going to be exactly the way they want it to be, which was instantly off the table. The other comment we'd have was, well, we want this to be, is there going to be enough conflict? We want conflict. We want people hating on each other. I said, this is not the story here. This is a family that love each other. Yes, there's conflict. There's plenty of conflict, but it always, for the most part, it's always a happy ending. And they said, well, can we have these people like act like they hate each other and make it look like marriages are broken? I'm like, absolutely not. I mean, the one thing
did you tell them just leave Bucky Bo alone long enough that you'll get what you need?
No. But the one thing that I when I initially asked, because I didn't pitch Tom and Sandy and Poppy and Bo. I didn't pitch them on this. I asked them for permission. I said, and when I asked them for permission, if I could start, testing, if I could come out and we could shoot like a test reel, and then I could go out and see if there was interest. When I asked them permission, I made them a promise, and I swore, on my soul that I would never allow this situation to result in them being exploited, and in their story being told in an inauthentic way. I made them, I promised on my heart that I would never let that happen. And the number of times I saw it being, pulled in that direction, it scared the shit out of me, because I'm like, oh my God, am I going to be the guy that made a promise that I couldn't keep because somehow it got out of my hands? So I always made sure that in any deal, because I was partnered with a local production company here in Santa Cruz, right? So these people, they were the ones that provided me with all of the wherewithal, the gear, the expertise to create our kind of test pilot mini episode to pitch with, right? So they were like my equal partners. And of course they saw stars. They're like, this, when they saw what it was all about, they're like, this is going to be fucking huge. But I made sure that when I had a lawyer draw up a contract between me and these people here in this production company in Santa Cruz, I said, no matter what, I have final decision to veto anything that I feel is going south, because I promised the Buchanans that I would not allow this thing, to present them in a way that made them look either, bad or stupid or anything negative, because, I adore them. Right. And it's the sad thing is, it didn't ever have to be that. It never had to be negative or anything. There would have been those 2 episodes I thought were like proof of concept that this could be a super interesting show. And I was already thinking ahead, the whole concept of like family farms and all the drama that happens with the family farm and all the challenges that happen when you're literally living hand to mouth, month to month, and you could lose the farm at any time depending on a bad year with livestock or a bad decision. I was already thinking ahead to, a family in New Zealand that has a sheep farm, or a family in Japan that has a koi farm. Or, there's so many cool other seasons. It could have become a franchise of this whole like family farm thing, and it would have been equally entertaining, hilarious, and educational, because people would be learning about all of the things that that they just don't know about in terms of how they get their food, or what these hardworking, salt of the earth families are doing that bucks the trend of the factory farm.
So how come now, Lex, that you couldn't revisit it and repitch it in 2020? Are you just over it?
Yeah, I lost my spark on that. The whole experience, which lasted, all in about 18 months, it squashed my passion to do it.
It's exhausting.
It broke my heart. The whole thing broke my heart. And when you've had your heart broken, you don't want to go back to the well. I just don't want to go back to the well. And
if you do you think, made it scripted? Like if you would have been like, Tom, or like they're wanting to do some scripted shit, are you down? And if Tom was like, hell yeah, like, do you think by selling your soul and agreeing to a scripted concept that would have changed the show in any way? Would we be on season 6 watching it right now?
Well, I would speculate no. And you all know Tom.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you imagine Tom
remembering
following a script or being able to really read?
Well, see, that's the thing.
I have a story. Hold on. I have a story.
Tanya,
we did a commercial locally for the Harvest Food Bank, and we had a script. And Tom wasn't following the script. I was supposed to talk after he read a certain part. And he's like, I can't read. And I'm like, oh my God. So I kept waiting on him thinking, what is happening? Why is he not following the script? So he's like, when I stop talking, you just start. I'm like, okay. So you're 100% right. And I don't know if you know this, Lex, but he promised my girlfriends a cameo in that film. So if you all had made it, we were going to get to wear bikinis and wash the cow poop off his truck.
Oh, we would have been.
Damn it!
We would have had a tractor washing episode.
Yes. He promised my girlfriend
to raise money for the local school. But here's the thing, Matt. If we had gone that route, and I'd tell this to Tom's face, but he would have fucked it up.
Yeah.
Well, see,
scripted.
Yeah. See, I would have agreed to it. I would have agreed to it, knowing that Tom wouldn't. So I mean, Tom. It's just like Tom.
No, he would have. He would have.
He would have, but he wouldn't have.
Right.
Well, he would have agreed to,
but he would have
agreed. But he would have shit. He would have shit the bed.
Yeah,
I would love to watch that episode of Tom trying to follow a script. And just
that's better. That's better than your actual concept of a show. Is Tom attempting to do a scripted show?
Oh Lord! He'd be every 10 seconds. He's all line.
It's like, yeah, you lie. Big time, you a lie.
Line. Hey, pass me a line. Give me a line.
But Lex, as well as I know Jonny too. Like, he's so funny naturally that he doesn't need a script. That guy can crack
the
you
only
up.
The only time Tom is not funny is when someone tries to write something funny for him.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've seen that, and it doesn't work. You need to leave him free. He's free range. He's a free range comedian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You cannot box him in. You need to let him do his thing, and he will guaranteed be hilarious. And Bo will be funny. Poppy will be funny. Sandy will be funny. They're all super funny, but you can't get in their way.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, so I just did a search. It's not on YouTube, and
it's not.
Yeah. So if someone wanted
I wish it was.
If someone wanted to watch this, can we throw it on the Patreon?
You know what? I have to get in touch with those people. The people that have it are the people that I was partners with, and I need to ask them, what it would take to just throw it out there. I mean, initially I asked them to do this like years ago, but at that time we were still under contract with Nat Geo, and they told us that we could not, because they paid for it. They said, you can't put this out in any way, shape, or form. But the statute of limitations may have lapsed on that now, because it's been like 7 years. So I'll look into that. And if so,
I mean, not necessarily on the Patreon. I mean,
I'll go out with a splash, because frankly, I worked my ass off on that, and I want the world to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny. Like, it's so, when they were eating the balls, I cracked up the whole time. Like, I was like, people do this? What? Like, and I'm from
they're
here.
delicious. They are delicious.
And I'm from here, but I would never eat that. So yeah.
You've never had balls in your mouth,
Well,
Tanya.
not those kind of balls.
I was like, I mean, sometimes you got to do to seal the deal.
Tanya's got standards, and that means only her own species.
Exactly.
Go in that mouth, and that's it.
Some of them have been questionable now that I look back, but yes. Bad judgment, but yes.
Well, you never dated me, so there is that. you did use some judgment.
Well, Jonny wants you to go to Flavortown, evidently.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, and speaking of manscaped.com, no, we're
you know what? This is one time where you're not sponsored and we don't have to listen to your dog.
I know.
Yeah, I've got a mute button. So,
So are you guys liking this? I mean, the season as a whole of Survivor? Tanya, are you watching Greek and Lex?
I loved last episode.
I did too.
Yeah. I like the last episode. I hate that the old school people are out so fast. I really wanted to see them do well. Like I always
some of them.
Some of them, but
yeah.
I'm
old school, but I mean, like, I don't give a fuck about Boston Rob or Parvati.
Well, I know, but I did want Ethan to do well. Like he made a good story.
Oh my god, I'm just hoping Ethan survives. I mean, like, I'm not like it's just like, do you think Ethan will win? I'm just like, I hope Ethan doesn't die. I mean, that motherfucker's shaky and I mean, shit. I mean, Lex, when did Ethan become the old Survivor Africa guy? Like, when did that happen?
Oh, I feel bad even responding to your question.
Don't respond.
Spoiler alert.
No spoiler. Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I talked to Ethan last week, and he doesn't die.
He doesn't die. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he looks old, but
good.
Yeah, watching it with my wife, she's kind of channeling Nick of like, that was my high school crush. He still looks great.
Does he still turn your wife on?
He does, yeah. So
wow,
he's doing it.
Good on him.
My sister adores him.
Ethan.
Yeah,
my sister adores him.
Yeah, I saw an Ethan shirt tonight.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's so. I mean, but Lex, I mean, back in the day, like, I mean, you know, I'm sure you had your onlookers, and Ethan had his onlookers, and I would be willing to bet 2001, Ethan might have had you in numbers. 2020, you've got Ethan beat. There are girls looking for that zaddy, and you are it.
Oh my God.
They are letting me know, and they're just like, you know, you can have Lex on whenever you want, and he don't even need a mic. I appreciate the things he says. However,
you know what? I will at almost 57 years old. I will take whatever I can get.
You got it. I like. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? 2020 that Lex outdraws Ethan's on.
Lex is always handsome.
I know, but
Tanya, I love you. You're too sweet to me.
I'm saying 2001 with the edit and everything else.
Well, he did get a bad boy edit, yeah.
But God, I look back at that and I'm like, damn, I was fit.
So, well, 2020, you got him.
And more importantly, I look back and I'm like, I was young.
Yeah, that is crazy. Time fucking flies, man.
Oh God! Well, it's been 20 years. You know, 20 years when you played your first game at 38. 20 years. It's damn. It's it's funny because, I mean, it's social media, whatever. But I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it's hard. Like I recently did a thing. I did a thing with Evil Dick, a podcast, and someone posted. They watched it and they're all LOL. What's up with great grandpa?
No, that was when you were on with us.
Oh no,
we're with you. And then a year ago or a couple years ago, I took a picture with Courtney, she and I were in New York. I was visiting, and she posted on her Twitter, and someone's all, "What the fuck happened to Lex?"
Really?
and I just replied them all, "It's called age. It happens to all of us."
Oh, you probably misread it like Matt misreads all the comments that he gets. They're probably like, "What the fuck? How did Lex get so fucking hot?"
No. There were qualifiers in there. So it was like it was so that stuff is like I keep wondering, God, do people I guess when you've been on TV, they think that you're frozen in amber, that you like you forever look the same way, and if you don't, then they're like, "Whoa!"
They want you to look similar or better. That's the only two options. If you look worse,
once you hit a certain age, it doesn't work that way no more.
Dude, you have aged amazingly, Lex.
Yeah, I'm shocked by that comment. I mean, I really am, and I'm thankful that we were on early season, because like social media, they're so mean nowadays about people's appearance and stuff. Like 18 years ago, we didn't have that stuff. So Facebook had just came out. We had MySpace, which cracks me up. But I mean, I remember they were really mean to Penny, and Penny's gorgeous.
Still is.
She's beautiful.
Yep.
And I just remember thinking, wow, there's some bullies, and like put it in today's time frame. I'm like, man, Jesus. I don't think I'm cut for this, because that's
look at any post.
I'm with you on that, Tanya.
Look at a post on Wendell's Instagram. Like during the heat of season 40, any picture Wendell put, 1,500 comments. And they were half the N-word, and the other half was Nick is a racist Trump supporter. I
don't get it, because I talked to Wendell a few weeks ago, when we were a few weeks into the season, and I could tell that and I'm not talking out of school here. I don't think he would mind me saying this, but I could tell that this season.
Well, I'm going to rat you out, so it doesn't matter.
I know you would, but you know what? I'd say this too. I'd say this. I'd have a conversation with him about this myself, but I could tell that this season was wearing on. It was hard on him, and I think that I don't think he expected, because in his season he was in his first season he was fairly beloved, and I think that this season was extraordinarily hard on him, because so many people were trash talking him on social media. And I think that it came out of completely left field. But I know when he and I talked about it, he wasn't mincing words about that. It was really flipping hard on him.
Yeah.
And I feel for people that's like, it's a whole nother kind of blindside. It's like a real life blindside.
Yeah.
And those hurt a lot more than tribal council blindsides. Because, all of us, we all got hearts, and we all have feelings. Right. And that stuff, people don't realize, when they think that it's open season on us because we signed on the dotted line and we're TV characters, that we're a commodity that can be just, trash talked or clowned or teased or bullied or whatever. But we all have feelings too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of us, like, probably Wendell, that wouldn't want to publicly, declare that they have feelings, that it hurt their feelings, but it did. And I think everyone's feelings get fucking hurt.
Well, even Adam Klein,
when people are hateful about them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Adam Klein had to leave social media, and good for him. So just imagine if Rupert had social media on All Stars.
I remember when my dad died, there were some mean fans, and back then we had Survivor Sucks board, and they're like, "I'm glad her dad died." And
they were so mean on Survivor Sucks. That was, but it was so isolated to there.
They were terrible.
Yeah, thank God. Like I just didn't go there, but my sister did, and she was getting in fights with people, and I'm like, they want that. Those are the kind of people that want that in their lives. Yeah,
that was the only social media when we did Africa. Survivor Sucks was there was only forums. Yeah, and I never went on it. And that was, I don't even want to begin to tell you guys what my whole tenure on Survivor Sucks was, but there are a number of really elaborate photoshopped images I had an alter ego. There's all kinds. But
yes,
I didn't want to go there. But,
I remember the alter ego.
But you know who was on? You know who was on there every day? My wife was on there every day.
I'm sure,
and it would make her cry.
Yeah,
every day. Every day she cried. She's like, they don't know you. They don't know what I know about you, and why would they be so mean? And
they're just hateful.
That was next level. Like, people are mean now, but I would argue that people on Survivor Sucks were infinitely meaner than the meanest trolls now, because back then the world was so different. What they were doing was meanness for the sake of just cutting someone. Like they wanted us,
right?
They wanted us to see it. They wanted
our blood,
so that they wanted our blood, and they wanted to hurt us.
Yeah.
They knew there was a good chance that we would go look at it.
Yeah.
It was.
I stopped all it like TMZ did the story about the buffs. And and I knew I was cool with it because I knew the angle that they were going to use is the only way I could get the story out there. So I was, and I knew, and I was like, that's fine. I was like, the only thing I ask is that you put a link to the charity in there. So I don't even care if it goes through my donation page. Just have the charity in there so people can donate to the charity. That's all I care about. So you know, but I know it. Like, the story isn't Jonny Fairplay is doing something good. That's not a good story. You know, is Jonny Fairplay possibly doing something shady? in the guise of doing good. That's the story. I'm cool with that. If
there's
that's
your
the
TMZ
story
angle right there. There's your TMZ angle.
Yeah. So I was more than okay with that because I'm just like I just want to get that charity out there, and it worked. I mean, like I had 3 Tony Vlacho's buffs available. 2 of them I listed for $250. They sold within 10 seconds.
Wow.
So then I put up a third for $300. It sold in 2 seconds.
Well, that's the worth of Tony Nachos' stock.
Yeah. But I had people reach out, like Donna reached out on the secret Facebook thing, and she goes, did you read the comments? And I'm like, I stopped reading comments in 2005. Because they're just gonna no one is taking the time to be like, thanks, Jonny Fairplay. That's really cool that you're doing that. No one's writing that.
Well, that's the thing. It ties back to what Lex was saying about the TV show, right? You can't just have something like good and nice there, right? Like, you can't have, that's not a story. It's got to be something fucked up or something that's sensational. Or like people feel like it's not valid of an opinion. Like, I'm not going to share this opinion because it's not going to get a huge emotional response from whoever reads it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Zack, we haven't heard a lot from you. What do you want to talk about? And I'd love to hear you talk some.
He's been furiously masturbating this whole time.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah. I'm a high school teacher, so I've just been chilling at home this whole time trying to figure out how to teach online, which is, you know, kind of making my schedule like really inconsistent and weird. So sort of staying up 24 hours a day to answer weird emails and do chats about essays students are writing. And then when I'm not doing that, putting together the new Survivor podcast I'm working on and talking to some Australian survivors with Jonny.
Nice.
Yeah. We haven't told anybody about like we kind of like let little hints and pieces. So you've already interviewed Tanya Vance, and Lex is coming up.
We have a date day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow. So go ahead and give people, if you want to give people a peek behind the curtain now, or
sure, yeah.
Or just say no. Go fuck yourself.
No, I'm excited about it. I'm really excited to talk about it. I wish I had a more formal pitch on it, but the show's called Survivor Relics. And it's sort of
Survivor Fossils.
Yeah,
Survivor Fossils.
Lex, you're not the relic. We're talking about relics. Yeah. So basically the gist was I got the idea from the current season, and they're talking all about old school versus new school, and me having to explain to a lot of my family members and more casual fans of like, what is Survivor Old School? Where's the line drawn? And I hear everyone has a different answer, right? It's All Stars, it's season 10, it's Micronesia, it's High Definition, Russell Hantz killed Survivor, whatever you want to do.
Yes.
There is that.
Yeah. So I was sort of like, I want to do an investigative series digging into what is Old School Survivor, what makes up Old School Survivor and what makes it great, and then just do a show that celebrates those facets of gameplay that have either changed over time or are no longer in the game, and try to come up with a final verdict by the end of, should we bring some of this stuff back? Did the game truly evolve to the point of this piece being missing? Those relics that I'm looking at are things like the Survivor auction, things like having the intro sequence, all this kind of stuff, having a final 2, stuff like that. So looking at the first season coming out of like 8 episodes, looking at 8 different relics that have disappeared from Survivor.
I think that is such a fascinating concept. And I think it's any Survivor fan would be rabid to, discuss that and hear about it and listen about it. I got a question for you guys. Because I don't remember, when was the season that had the very first hidden immunity idol?
I have no idea.
It was the one with skinny. Wasn't it? Was it yours, Fairplay? Where was Ron?
No, they didn't have hidden immunity idols in Pearl Islands.
No, they did.
They didn't have them in All Stars either, and they would have had them then.
Yeah, China had one, so that means they had it before Fans versus Favorites, because man pushed my head into the side of the boat to get the one at the beginning of Micronesia.
Guatemala was the first one.
Guatemala.
Oh, okay. There you go.
What season number is that?
Number 11.
I would almost argue that's just one theory. There's a million theories. I don't even know which one I personally subscribe to, but I would almost argue that's almost the division between old school and new school, because that's when Adam bit into the apple.
Yeah.
To me, that's
what I think too.
That's when the bad shit started happening, when all the ultra manipulation with the idols and the special islands, that was the first step towards that. So yeah, Tanya, I'm with you. I think that might be my dividing line.
Is your Mendoza line?
Yeah.
But is there like, we say old school versus new school, and where is that line drawn? But so in BMX bike riding or skateboarding, for example, action sports in general, you have like the pioneers of the sport, that's old school. And then like there's a period of time that's like mid school, and then there's new school. So is there a class? There a classification of mid school Survivor?
Yes.
So if it's 1 through 11 is old school, it's 11 to what?
To 20 maybe?
They're mid school. And then
maybe 11 to 20 is probably like mid school, and I think it would be I would
go as far as 11 to 30. I think Cagayan. I think
really,
maybe.
Really. Oh, I think that by then, by 30, people were already like discarding the whole concept of like a real alliance. That was like old news.
What would you say, Zack? Because you probably know more about Survivor than any of us Survivors.
And you probably know more about old school versus new school, or mid school.
Yeah, I think for me, sort of from talking to different old school Survivors and going back, and I'm doing like a full rewatch of everything when I can to try to take some notes on different pieces of the puzzle. But what I find is at a certain point, they start replacing all of the things I'm looking at with strategy pieces. So we're missing out on what people do for a job in the Chiron on the bottom, but instead we get one immunity idol. Right. So like they slowly start to replace every piece of the old school game with advantages and strategy. So at what point does that hit critical mass, I guess, would be where I would need to draw the line. And I feel like, I don't know. I think I'd say probably middle school would end somewhere where the advantages started getting really crazy. Which I'm kind of there with Jonny about, like Cagayan. I feel like Spencer is such like a meta player. That he's like the first person who I feel like is really like metagaming Survivor. But I don't think I'd cut off old school as early as Lex did. I think I'd probably go China is the last old school season. If I was
I could be convinced of that too, because a lot of, I know quite a few of the people that played China, and I
it
feel
felt
like
personality based.
We share a certain kind of, DNA and ethos, and I felt that, you know, for me, really another thing that defines old school is when Lynn Spillman and her casting, you know, army really cast diverse characters,
right?
You know, where it felt like this kind of cross section of different parts of America, rather than a whole front loading a ton of like super beautiful people from LA or, you know, New York or whatnot. But to have like, you know, truly like 16 or 18 people that look a bit like none of these things is like the other, to me, that defines old school. Like,
yeah,
I mean, look at the Africa cast, look at a lot of, you know, our old school cast. It was a freak show.
Yeah,
and you couldn't
like you found the one Tanya Vance that you could, you know, masturbate to, and then the rest you're like,
oh, stop it. No, but it was like, it looked at first glance, it looked like, oh my God, this is the worst, anybody's worst nightmare. If you had to be shipwrecked with all these people, you look like you couldn't find one person that's your person.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be the game.
That was fascinating, that it was like 16 people that looked like they could never possibly work together or get along.
One of each.
And that happened. You're right. Like up until China, most of the cast still had that magic of, you know, real quirky variety. But as soon as that went south,
the next season after China is Micronesia fans versus favorites, and you have half the fans that aren't fans.
Yeah.
So that was one of my things with Zack was, one, I hate the idols. So when that came into play, I felt like that wasn't old school anymore, because you weren't really getting voted out when you should. You could be saved. I hate them. And two, there's so many actresses that get recruited. Like even on our cast, because 9/11 had happened, they got Ken Stafford to come on because he was a police officer. And I remember we clapped for him in the intro, which is cool. And that's smart. It was. But like, then it became what Lex said, where you had just all Barbie dolls, like people that were cast that didn't even like the game. And it was harder to relate to them. It was like, I like picking people like, you know, like Big Tom or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's my homeboy, you know, like he's from this area.
That's like my uncle, you know, that's like, yeah.
We went to the same college.
But you know, let the record show that Fairplay was recruited.
Oh,
sure.
That's right.
I hate to be the one to point out the steaming turd in the room. I love you, Jonny.
I was recruited to be a surfer, and so with that, I feel I epically failed. That's why they like Lynn Spillman was looking for a surfer.
I still can't wait to see you on a surfboard, Jonny.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
And then she found Fabio, and she was like, "Oh,
where's an SOS signal that I can?" Yeah, no. But I think it for someone that was recruited. I mean, I went, and you were extremely helpful to me, to Lex. So, like, you know, I went on eBay, ordered every episode and every early show interview in which people explained why they really felt they were voted out. You know, because like those early show interviews were just as important to me framing my game as watching the actual episodes.
Yeah.
But in addition, also in those videos, it got the "Where Are They Now?" You know, with Lex Vandenberg. So I had all that going in. The only thing I hadn't seen when I went in to play Pro Islands was the finale of Amazon, because like when the guy had the eBay auction, he goes, "This auction ends after Amazon finishes airing." And I hit him up. I was like, "I will pay you $300 right now in the auction. Send me the fucking videos." He was like, "Well, the finale's next week." I'm like, "I'll watch it. It's fine. Just send me these fucking tapes. I need them now. Trust me. In the fucking auction, I will pay you." Like, it was, I don't know, $200 or $300. And he was like, "Well, it will be an incomplete collection." And I was like, "I don't give a fuck. Just send me the fucking tapes."
Yeah.
One day a thing called DVD will exist, and I'll be good.
So he sends me the tape. So Survivor was on it. That was, I don't know, Wednesday night or Thursday night. I think it was Thursday night at the time.
Yeah.
Thursdays.
Yeah. Okay. So Thursday night, I watched he sends the tapes, and I'm missing the last 2 episodes of Amazon. Okay. So Thursday night comes on. I watch it, because I'm just I'm waiting for the tapes. I need to watch some Survivor to prepare myself for this game in some way. So I see the next to last episode of Amazon. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get this. I don't really know what's going on, but I get the concept, whatever. And so next Thursday, I'm ready to watch the finale, and I get a call from Thunder D on Monday, and he goes, "What'd you think?" And I'm like, "Of what?" And he goes, "The finale last night." I go, "What do you mean?" Because the finales come on Sunday. And I'm like,
No.
You could have told me that. He goes,
"That's funny.
You didn't know?" I'm like, motherfucker, I've never seen the show. The first episode I've ever watched was fucking Thursday night.
Yeah, that was back when the big reward was after the season aired, CBS would send you a big case filled with VHS tapes.
I had my Pro Islands VHS tapes.
I still have mine, and I need to convert them from TRL with Carson Daly, the top 10 list for David Letterman. They're all VHS.
Yeah.
Oh, they gave you that too?
Yeah.
All of it. It all, you got all of it.
Oh no, we just got 1 through 13. That's it.
So you got your episodes and all your appearances?
Yeah, I didn't get my appearances.
So cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think they do with the extra footage? There's so much footage that they film that doesn't get aired.
Brian Gumbel's got it in his trailer.
I don't know. I had Jocelyn. Did you have Jocelyn Lex?
Yeah.
So she we're doing a Zoom call for the cast of my season, for Give Kids a World. Yep. And she commented on Penny's post, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love you guys." And she told me to send her my email that she had tons of pictures that she came across of us. And I'm so excited. She just sent it today. So I'm excited to get them and see them, because even then, remember how many pictures they took? They took tons. And we have a few of them, and then they have all of them. So I'm excited to see what she has.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a Jocelyn.
I don't know who you had, but back then
I had sex with half my people.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I am not surprised. Did you all have did Mark Burnett come and hang out with you guys on the Ponderosa?
On the Ponderosa,
I wasn't on the Ponderosa, so I don't know.
Oh, you're so lucky. Yeah.
I never met Mark Burnett, not one single time, and not one interview.
He was at every one of our challenges, and
yeah.
He often had his kids and his wife at the challenges in Africa too. They would all be sitting there on chairs watching.
He had his kids, not his wife. And our season is the pirate season, and Pirates of the Caribbean had just come out. So they're that pirate ship that we have the big challenge on. They're playing on that they're like, come on in, guys. They're still fucking playing on the fucking ship, and he's like. Get off the ship!
Nice.
I think it's so interesting too, because you don't hear people talk about them even meeting him now. And he used to come hang out with us. He would drink with us. I remember Stephanie doing lap dances. I shouldn't probably say that, but she would get wasted and do lap. He came and hung. I have pictures of him. Tons from him hanging out with us at the Ponderosa.
Yeah, our end of season party, the night before
he was there
back
for that,
to the States.
At the Ponderosa.
Oh, he was getting hammered with all of us.
Yeah, that's fun. And
That's
Jeff
so
Probst came a couple times.
Yeah.
So he came to the Ponderosa, is what you're saying? After he don't
after
do
we
that
were
shit
voted
anymore.
out. Yeah, he would come and hang out and drink and.
Well, I don't know what he did on
time.
Pro Island. Once again, I got there, the last night, and so.
Yeah.
So I said, I know for the rap party, I know that Burnett came. I don't think Jeff, because when Jeff said, I'm going to take the votes, I'll see you in LA or whatever. I think it was LA for that one. And so he leaves and I immediately get on your fucking jet ski, Probst. And that might have been enough to be like, you know what? Fuck them and fuck their fucking.
What season was that where he came in on the jet ski?
He did a crazy journey in Amazon, and he did one in Vanuatu as well. I can't remember which is.
Have you asked people about that? The Jet Probst outros?
I need to. I don't know how involved anyone was in that though. There's one he like goes by the Statue of Liberty and like salutes.
Yes,
it's the cheesiest damn thing ever.
Remember that?
Oh, that was so classic. I think I horse laughed with
I loved all those.
Oh, they're so good.
The jet ski was cheesy too. I remember that because I was like, "What the hell?"
Oh, that was my favorite thing, just screaming, "Get on your fucking jet ski, Probst!"
So Miami Vice.
He did not appreciate that.
Yeah, that was probably the Amazon one. Was the big journey he did before you?
Wait, maybe we should use that as our dividing line between old school and new school when he actually hopped on a jet ski.
Yeah.
Was that when Fonzie jumped the shark?
Oh my God.
All right, season 2, Zach, the fucking Jeff Probst's voyage to New York and LA.
Yeah, that's episode 1. That sounds good.
There you go. So what Zach is saying, unsubscribe after season 1. It's downhill from there.
Oh man, nah.
No, don't unsubscribe. So, all right, I think this was fun, guys.
I do too. I'm always down to hang out, man.
This is a blast, and I mean, you guys are such all good people. Zach, Tanya, Jonny, Matt. You guys are. We're all. I feel like we're all old friends, and God knows more than ever. I need to feel some connection with people right now because this whole like lockdown situation. Oh God, I'd give $100 just to hug Fairplay at this point.
Oh, geez. No, it's bad.
So you think, Lex, in California, that you'll be quarantined or whatever on lockdown through summer? I
think it's going to go through summer. I think that's what I suspect. But I'm trying to like. I have so many friends that are like, they're like, okay, my work said that we're working from home till May 19th, and then come like last week, their work said, okay, now we're extending it, through June, and so they're always like, they're setting their own expectations to like the most optimistic early time. I'm choosing to just set my expectation is it's going to be end of summer. That way, I'm not disappointed, and I'm fully mentally like prepared to just be on lockdown for like 5 months. Whatever.
You guys, it's mandatory to wear masks or you get fined just in Santa Cruz or the whole state of California?
No, right now that's just tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, it's just gonna be Santa Cruz.
I'm cool with that. I'm super cool.
I'm super cool with that too because that does is it protects everybody. It's not just you. Yeah. It protects everybody. If you've got somebody sneezing, coughing, or whatnot, it keeps it in in one place. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with that, and I think it's just a courteous, compassionate, thoughtful thing to do.
Yeah,
right?
I give I might not give a fuck about myself, but how about I give a fuck about other people? That's a good rule.
Plus, do you want somebody that doesn't even know that they have COVID, but to be shopping for what they need in the supermarket,
or they don't need?
Well, but they have one good sneeze and it hits all that produce or all those canned goods. And then you go, an hour later or 4 hours later and you grab that can or you grab that apple and it's got that stuff on it. I mean, it's like that little tiny piece of fabric keeps even just the stuff you shop for from potentially having stuff on it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just thoughtful. So I'm totally good with that. I ain't gonna get fined, that's for sure. I had a beef up until a few days ago. If you were for about a week and a half, there was a period of time in Santa Cruz where anyone caught surfing, $1,000 fine. And they handed out quite a few citations because people here love to surf and I love to surf. Mm-hmm. But I just said, okay, I'm not surfing while it's $1,000 fine. But enough surfers kind of complained and made their case, and they made their case in a thoughtful way. They said, look, you say it's okay for people to walk around the block. It's okay for people to run. But why is it not okay for people that get their exercise in the water, where we already practice safe social distancing, because surfers have to be, by definition, apart, right? Why is it against the law for us to exercise? And so after about, it was like 9 days that they had that, it was against the law, they lifted it and said, okay, locals only, which in my lifetime, it's the first time ever that Santa Cruz waves are only for Santa Cruz residents. So this is that's my silver lining. I don't have to share the waves with 1,000 Valley kooks. They're all Santa Cruz people.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, I saw a skate park in Venice, California, dude. They fucking filled it in with sand. Yeah.
I saw that. It's so sad.
I know.
Well, it's just too many people. I mean, I think if people could be just smart about it, none of this would be an issue. But it's not. It's just like, hey, we don't have to go to school, so let's go all hang out together. It's just like, you dumb motherfucker. That's why you're not in school.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, but before we wrap up, Matt and I were at around. We were in the 60s on our patrons like 4 weeks ago.
Wow, you guys have almost doubled.
And we had gotten up into the 90s, and I just wanted to crack that 100 bubble. And I was looking and Lex and Tanya and Big Tom and all those guys will tell you, when I do run into them, I'm just like, hey. When I run into most survivors, I'll give you, 20 pictures to sign. But if I run into friends, I abuse that privilege, and I'll hand you about 60. and Tanya and Lex will both tell you they fucking hate my guts when I hand them that stack of 60.
I'll sign 600 for you, man.
I do too. I don't care.
You're my brother. I love you.
I know. But let me give a huge thank you right now, because I put it up. I'm just like, hey, we're at 99. I just want to fucking hit 100. Get anyone that signs up by noon, or if you sign up by noon, I'll send you an autographed Jonny, Fairplay, Big Tom, Lex picture. Here you go, because I had a stack of those. Fast forward to noon, and I think we're at 112 patrons.
Whoa!
Wow!
How cool is that?
That's amazing.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for putting us over the top. Sylvester Stallone style.
Yeah.
Turn the hat backwards. And so no, that's really cool. Our next milestone is 250. We have nothing special for that, but at 1,000, it was asked last night during the patron Q&A, is that the magic number to get Matt to cut off his beard? And he said no. He is incorrect. I assure all of you watching right now, 1,000 is the magic fucking number. I will fucking drive, fly, swim, skateboard, fucking surf to fucking Matt Bischoff's house.
Matt,
1,000 patrons.
I'm predicting that Fairplay may have a special deal with Tessa, because I know she hates fucking beer.
She's already told me.
When
she's buying
400.
She has 400 fake email accounts. So we only really need 6. 600 is the magic number to cut off Matt Bischoff's beard.
She'll do it. She'll do it in your sleep.
Oh yeah, no, she's in. She's in. So
she's already tells me, when that fucking beard, she's like, I'm fine with you reaching your stupid goal of your beard touching the floor, but the second that motherfucker's at the floor, it's gone.
But I'm going to keep trimming it.
That's what I said. Well, what if I cut like 2 inches off the bottom? It never reaches the floor. I always got to wear it. It's so fucking long I cannot do normal life unless I have it knotted up in a beard pretzel in my shirt. So
I'll bet you if I grabbed it and yanked it real hard, it would probably hit the floor right now.
It
might hurt. It might hurt a little bit, but I'll bet.
But she was also. I mean, Tessa. When this whole COVID-19 thing, she's like, Matt, you might have to shave your fucking beard. Like, she's like, if you got to walk around with a fucking mask, she's like, that just shit could probably germs and the fucking virus could probably land in my fucking beard.
They've already announced that that's the case. Did you know that?
Well, I
like
saw that. I saw that, and then
but he doesn't want to believe that. So.
If you're in the medical field, you have to cut it. Like a lot of nurses and stuff, they have to cut
I keep it literally. I keep my beard in my shirt at all times. I don't have it on right now, but when I'm anywhere out in public, I keep it fucking tucked away.
But it's like an ant farm for germs. They're all like in there. They're all like doing.
Yeah,
they're
doing a Corona ant farm.
Doing this right here. They're all.
Oh, you guys. Well, thank you guys for hanging out tonight.
Thanks for telling me to cut my beard.
Switch to change subjects.
He's like, I gotta go now. See
ya. Tessa watches these things. The last thing she needs is ideas.
Well, you guys, thanks for having me.
This has been a blast. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I love all you guys, and
we'll
kiss that pooch. Kiss that pooch.
I will. Look, he's so sleepy. Look at him. He's like,
I thought you were talking to Matt. When he gets to bed later, kiss that pooch down there.
And with that, we're out.